Single dad discovers incredible truth after witnessing little girl scavenging trash on Christmas. Jack stood engulfed in a swirl of sparkling lights shimmering from every window in his cozy neighborhood. The twinkling decorations wrapped around tree trunks, shimmering icicles draped over eaves, and wreaths hung on front doors, all painting a picture of warmth and cheer. But behind his smile, Jack's heart ached. With every flicker of light, his empty wallet weighed heavier, reminding him of the fragile Christmas he was creating for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. He'd been working 2 jobs, barely scraping by, striving to craft a joyful holiday for his little girl amid the mounting bills and financial strain. Each evening, after putting in long hours, he'd put up a festive display that made Lily's eyes light up like the stars above. But now, as Christmas drew nearer, the looming disappointment clenched at his chest, a haunting echo of his childhood memories, when Christmas had been a magical time of joy and love. On Christmas Eve, hope turned to heaviness as Jack rushed to grab last-minute groceries. He walked through the aisles, focused on making Christmas special in their modest home, when something caught his eye. Turning, he was struck by the sight of a small girl, no older than Lily, digging through a dumpster. Her clothes were tattered and stained, hands rummaging desperately for anything of value. His heart shattered at the image. He approached, battling his instinct to look away. Instead, he knelt down, his voice trembling. "Hey there, are you okay?" To his surprise, she flinched back, suspicious yet fearful. As the reality of her struggles became palpable, Jack felt a swell of compassion washing over him. This little girl, Mia, faced a cold world alone, starkly contrasting with the warm home he'd worked tirelessly to create for Lily. His mind raced. Was Mia searching for something to eat? Warmth? Hope? Determined to learn more, Jack discovered Mia lived in a rough neighborhood with her mother, a war veteran still battling demons of her past. Jack felt layers of judgment begin to peel off as he confronted the harsh realities of life for others. Mia wasn't just another statistic but a living, breathing child, suffering day by day. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Jack rallied his neighbors to help Mia's family, hope blossomed. A sea of support flowed through the community. Warm clothes, holiday meals, and smiles filled the hearts of many, and Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose, yet the fear of judgment gnawed at him from the inside. With every small act, his heart connected more deeply with Mia's story, igniting a flame of courage that surged within him. But when Mia's mother lashed out, overwhelmed by despair, Jack felt the urge to retreat. He wrestled with feelings of inadequacy, yet in witnessing her battles, he realized the fortitude they both shared. Standing on the brink of a decision, Jack felt the weight of his dilemma: stay in his safe bubble or step out into the unknown, embracing the true spirit of the season. At that moment, Jack faced an impossible choice. Would he summon the strength to step beyond his fears and weave into a greater tapestry of hope? The answer still hung in the air, leaving Jack and the reader gripped by the anticipation of what the true meaning of Christmas could become if they dared to embrace the burdens of others. Jack stood frozen for a moment, the world around him blurring as a mix of emotions coursed through him. He could hear laughter from nearby homes, children squealing with joy, families gathering around to revel in the spirit of the season. But all he could see was Mia's fragile figure, a reminder that not everyone experienced Christmas through a lens of joy and warmth. His resolve started to harden. He couldn't turn his back. Not now. Taking a deep breath, he knelt down beside Mia, softening his voice. "I know it's tough, but you're not alone. Let me help. Can we figure out something together?" Mia blinked, eyes wide with disbelief. For a moment, the gears of her mind worked slowly. Could this man really mean what he said? She finally nodded, just barely, the tiniest flicker of trust sparking between them. "Let us get you out of here," Jack said gently as he extended his hand. She hesitated, her brow furrowed with uncertainty. But then, slowly, she reached out and took his hand. Jack felt an overwhelming sense of urgency to change not just this moment, but the fate of this little girl before him. He led her away from the dumpster and into the glow of the neighborhood's Christmas lights. With each step, he could see her shoulders relax, tension easing as if they had escaped a dark cloud. Back at his home, the familiar warmth enveloped them. The delicious smell of the batch of cookies he'd baked for Lily lingered in the air, and he quickly set to work making hot cocoa, trying to create a space of comfort and safety. Mia watched quietly, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension dancing in her eyes. "Do you like marshmallows?" Jack asked, hoping to coax out a smile. Her lips curled slightly, and she nodded cautiously. As he plopped a few floats atop the steaming mugs, the rich aroma wafting around, he finally caught a glimpse of the child beneath the fear. He poured a mug and handed it gently to her, almost like a fragile truce. "Here you go." For the first time, her eyes sparkled with delight. It was a small moment, but it felt monumental. They both took sips, letting the warmth of the cocoa melt some of the ice that had built up around their hearts. "Mia, do you have a place to stay tonight?" Jack posed the question with care, afraid of what her answer might reveal. "All I have is Mom, but—" She hesitated, glancing down, words choking in her throat. Jack saw the pain etched across her small face like a story written in shadows. "You don't need to defend anything," he reassured her softly. "You're safe here with me. We can figure it out tomorrow together." Something shifted in Mia's expression. Gratitude mixed with relief as she finally let her guard down. The burden she carried, even in that small moment, felt lighter as Jack's kindness radiated around her. Once they finished the cocoa, Jack led her toward the guest bedroom, where cozy blankets awaited. "This will be your room for the night, okay?" "I'll be right down the hall," he assured, his heart swelling with a warmth he didn't know he had. Mia nodded, a small smile breaking through. He watched as she settled in the room, her eyes fluttering slowly shut, exhaustion finally overcoming her. Outside, the stars twinkled like little beacons of hope. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that tonight was a turning point, not just for Mia but for him too. As he closed the door, an unsettling thought arose. What would Mia's mother do when she found out? Would Jack face anger or gratitude? The possibilities twisted in his mind. Just then, the phone rang, vibrating in his pocket. It was a number he didn't recognize. Curiosity won, and he answered, a sense of foreboding creeping into his voice. "Hello? Is this Jack?" A stern voice asked, and his stomach dropped. Who was on the other end, and what did they want with him? In that moment, Jack felt a mix of foreboding and resolve. Whatever was coming next, he knew he wasn't alone in facing it. He braced himself for what awaited on the other end, aware that everything could change in an instant. "Jack." The voice continued, steady and cold. "This is Officer Harris from the local police department. We need to talk about Mia." Jack's heart raced. That name. It echoed in his mind, pulling him deeper into concern. "What about her?" he asked, dread pooling in his stomach. "Look, can you meet us at the station?" "It's important," Officer Harris insisted, his tone firm but not unkind. Is she in trouble?" Jack stammered, the thought twisting painfully in his chest. He thought of the small girl asleep in his guest room, a snapshot of vulnerability and fear. "She's safe for now, but we need to discuss the circumstances surrounding her situation." "It's urgent, Jack." "Okay, I'll be there." His voice faltered as he ended the call. The world outside his cozy home felt suddenly harsh and daunting. Mia's innocent face haunted him, guilt gnawing at the edges of his thoughts. Had he done the right thing by bringing her here? He paused, glancing at the guest bedroom door. His mind raced with what-ifs. What if Mia's mother was involved in something dangerous? What if she came looking for her? A chill raced down his spine as he felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Taking a deep breath, Jack pulled on his jacket and stepped outside, the crisp air biting against his cheeks. The twinkling lights of the neighborhood felt distant as he walked. His mind drifted to his daughter, Lily, who would be home with her mother, blissfully unaware of anything amiss. Jack had always aimed to be a good father, providing stability and love. Could he extend that same love to a stranger? Minutes later, he arrived at the station. The stark fluorescent lights greeted him like a slap to the face. He was led into a small room where a round table stood under the glare of a single bulb. Officer Harris sat across from him, eyes sharp, assessing. "Thanks for coming," he said, leaning back slightly. "Let us start with what you know about Mia." Jack swallowed hard, remembering the fear in the girl's eyes. She's been living on the streets. I found her scavenging near a dumpster. I couldn't just leave her there. Harris nodded, scribbling notes. "It's good that you acted. But there's more to this story. Her mother has a history with substance abuse, and it seems she has been neglecting Mia. We think she might be involved in something illegal." Jack's breath hitched in his throat. "No, I didn't." He think his voice trailed off as he considered the implications. The officer's gaze softened for a moment. "I understand this is a lot to take in. But we have to assess whether Mia can be safe in your care." "She's with me right now," Jack blurted, his heart racing. "I couldn't just leave her to fend for herself. She's just a kid." "Listen," Harris leaned in, concern mixing with professionalism. "You need to know that you might be putting both of you at risk. If her mother is looking for her." Jack felt a wave of panic wash over him. The cozy comfort of his home suddenly felt like a trap. "What are you suggesting? That I bring her back?" "No, I'm saying we need to protect her. We have options, but I need you to be honest. Are you ready for this responsibility?" With those words, Jack felt a fire ignite within him. He considered Mia sleeping peacefully just down the hall. He knew she was more than just a child lost, she was a fragile soul searching for safety and maybe a glimmer of hope. "I'm ready," he declared, his voice firm. "I'll do whatever it takes." As Officer Harris nodded, Jack realized this was just the beginning of their journey together. A melody of uncertainty and courage surged through him. They would need to face what came next together, but could he really protect Mia? Just then, a commotion erupted in the station. Voices raised, uncertainty spilling into the hallway. Jack turned, his heart pounding anew as a figure burst through the door. "Mia!" The woman cried out, and Jack's stomach twisted. He recognized her instantly, the woman whose photo had played on the news just days ago. What would she do when she found her daughter? Fear and resolve battled within him as he braced for what was about to unfold. The woman rushed forward, her eyes wild, scanning the room until they landed on Jack. "Where is she?" Her voice was a raw edge of desperation. It wasn't just a question, it was a plea. Jack's heart thudded in his chest. He wanted to stand firm, to protect Mia, but seeing the panic on the woman's face twisted his insides. "Who are you?" he managed to ask, trying to keep his voice steady. "Mia's mother," she gasped, breathless. "I need to see her. Please, I can explain everything." Officer Harris stepped in, authoritative. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. We're in the middle of an investigation. But you don't understand. I've been looking everywhere for her." Tears streamed down the woman's face. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen. There are people after me. I just wanted her to be safe." Jack's eyes darted between the officer and the woman. "Is that true?" he asked, his voice quieter now as fear crept deeper into his bones. "Yes." She nodded frantically. "I haven't been a good mother, I know that. But her voice broke. I was trying to keep her away from my life. Away from the people who hurt us." Harris crossed his arms, skeptical. "What do you mean?" Who's after you? I can't, it's not safe here, the woman whispered, glancing nervously around the room. They're dangerous. They know I've been trying to get clean. Jack felt a pang of sympathy mixed with uncertainty. He thought of Mia's innocent face, the way she clung to him as if he were her only lifeline. Could this woman truly keep her safe? Do you have a name? Harris probed. Harper, she replied, her voice barely a whisper. With each moment, tension filled the air like a thick fog. Jack could see the anguish on Harper's face and wondered if she was genuinely trying to protect Mia, or if she was just another threat. We can help you, Harris said, his voice low but steady. But first, we need to ensure Mia is safe. For now, let us talk about what happened. Jack held his breath, watching the exchange unfold. Could he trust this woman? What if she had brought the danger with her? And what did that mean for Mia? Look, can you just let me see her? Harper's voice trembled. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go to therapy, I'll turn my life around. Just let me see my girl. The flicker of sincerity in her eyes made Jack's heart ache. He could feel Mia's presence echoing in his mind. A little girl afraid of the world. That thought alone pushed him to act. Maybe we can find a way for her to see you, he suggested, voice shaking with conviction. But we have to be smart about this. Officer Harris nodded, his expression wary. We can arrange a supervised visit. But you'll have to cooperate, Harper. As they spoke, Jack felt a strange sense of camaraderie forming between him and Harper. They were both frightened, both worried about Mia's future. It wasn't just about guilt now, it was about finding a way to do right by her. What if she doesn't want to come back to you? Jack asked, his voice low. Then I'll take my chances, Harper said quietly, her resolve firming. I just need to tell her I love her, that I never stopped. Okay, Jack breathed, feeling the weight of the moment settle on him. Nothing was simple anymore. Choices loomed before him, each with consequences. Before they could discuss further, another officer came in, urgency clouding his features. Officer Harris, there's been a sighting, 2 men outside. They're asking questions about Mia's whereabouts. Harris's expression immediately switched to full alert. Stay here, he instructed. This isn't a safe place. We need to get you both out. Jack glanced at Harper, who now wore a look of unsettled fear. Who are they? She whispered, panic rising again. I don't know, but we need to move now, Harris ordered, his voice low and urgent. As Jack felt the reality of their predicament crash over him, he grasped Harper's arm, pulling her toward the door. We'll figure this out, he promised, though doubt gnawed at him. He could feel the chaos closing in like a tightening noose. Just then, a sharp noise echoed down the hallway, sending a jolt of dread through him. Mia is in danger, Jack realized. Would he be able to protect her from whatever was coming? The unknown loomed larger than life, casting shadows on all their futures. The tension in the air was suffocating. Jack felt the cold sweat forming on his forehead, his heart racing as he led Harper through the dimly lit corridor. Officer Harris was close behind them, eyes scanning for any sign of danger. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Where are we going? Harper asked, her voice thick with urgency and fear. To a safe area, Harris replied sharply. Just trust me. Jack's mind was racing. He couldn't afford to hesitate now. Mia was out there, potentially in harm's way, and he felt an overwhelming urge to protect her at any cost. With every step, he could almost see Mia's face, her laughter just a bright memory in a darkening world. As they maneuvered through doorways and turns, the sound of chaos grew louder. Voices echoed, footsteps pounded against the floor. It felt like a horror movie where the door creaks open, and danger lurks just beyond the frame. Jack held on to Harper's arm a little tighter, hoping to anchor her while willing his own anxiety to quiet down. They burst into a smaller room, its walls adorned with bright, cheerful drawings meant to soothe children. The contrast to the mounting dread outside was striking. Jack's instinct screamed for him to push forward, but he felt Harper's grip tighten. "What if they find us?" she asked, her eyes wide with panic. "Then we'll figure it out," he assured, forcing a smile that felt brittle. "You said you wanted a chance to talk to Mia. We'll give you that." Harper's expression softened momentarily. "Thank you," she murmured. But the gratitude quickly shifted back to fear as her gaze flicked nervously to the door. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. Officer Harris quickly assessed the room, closing the door behind them and locking it. "We'll wait here for a moment," he declared, his posture tense and serious. "If they come looking for you, they will likely check the main area first." Suddenly, a loud crash resounded from the hallway, disturbing and chaotic. It wasn't just a noise, it felt like a warning. Jack's gut twisted. What was that? Harris moved closer to the door, peeking through the small window. "Looks like they're trying to get in." An icy grip of fear settled in Jack's chest. "If they find us, we need to be ready. We can't let them take Mia or Harper." "They're coming in fast," Harris warned, straightening himself. "Look, I don't want to scare either of you, but we may need to fight our way out." Harper's face blanched, and Jack could see the tears welling in her eyes. "I can't go back to that life," she whispered hoarsely. "Not now that I've found a way back to Mia. I just can't." "Listen, Harper," Jack said, desperation edging his voice, "you have to stay strong. You said you wanted to keep Mia safe. That's your priority now. It's ours too." Just then, a loud bang echoed again. This time the door jolted on its hinges. Jack felt his breath catch in his throat. The fear of what was waiting for them outside churned his stomach. Mia, he thought, sending up a silent prayer. How could he protect her from this chaos threatening to consume everything? The doorknob rattled violently. Jack shifted his weight, preparing himself for whatever would come through that door. In that split second, an idea sparked in his mind, a way to buy them time. "Harper, I need you to help me. If they come in, you can't freeze. We have to be ready." With uncertainty flickering in her eyes but determination starting to glow, she nodded. The world outside felt all-consuming, but a flicker of hope ignited between them. They were both willing to fight for Mia, and that bond made them stronger than the fear. As the door forced open, Jack stood firm. "Whatever happens next, we will keep her safe," he declared, but would their combined resolve be enough? When the door swung wide, revealing shadows that loomed bigger than life in the doorway, Jack felt his heart race. What awaited them beyond the threshold was both terrifying and uncertain. "Stay close," he whispered, gripping Harper's arm. Would they emerge from this unscathed, or was this the moment? Everything spiraled into chaos. The door creaked open, and the shadows spilled into the room like ink spreading across a page. Jack's heart thundered in his chest, an urgent drumbeat urging him to act. The light from the hallway flickered, illuminating the edges of two figures standing there. "Search the room." One of the intruders barked. His voice was harsh and commanding, cutting through the tension like a knife. Jack's body instinctively tensed as he felt Harper's breath quicken beside him. He shot her a look of fear mingled with resolve. "We need to make a stand," he whispered urgently. Harris adjusted his position, poised to confront the intruders. "If we can create a diversion, I can cover you," he said, ready to take action. Jack saw the officer's determination, it seemed contagious. "Diversion?" Harper asked, her voice shaky but steadying as she clutched Jack's arm tighter. "How?" "Just get ready to move when I give the signal," Harris replied. "We're not going down without a fight." As the figures stepped into the room, the door swung wider, revealing two men dressed in dark clothing, their expressions cold and methodical. Jack's heart raced faster. They were not just random intruders, they were on a mission, and they meant business. Jack's breath hitching in his throat, he scanned the room for anything he could use as a weapon. His eyes darted to a wooden chair in the corner. "Harper, On my count, I'll create a distraction, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. 1, 2. Before he could reach 3, a loud bang erupted next door, followed by shouts. Instinctively, the intruders turned, momentarily distracted. Now! Jack shouted, lunging toward the chair. He hoisted it above his head, ready to strike. That a horrifying realization swept over him as he swung it down hard against the ground. The room shook with the reverberation, sending vibrations through the walls. The intruders turned back, startled. Harris seized the opportunity, tackling one of the men. Jack's hands shook as adrenaline coursed through him. Harper! Move! He yelled, pointing towards the window. She needed to get out now. In a flash, Harris held the struggling intruder down, but the other one lunged for Jack, knocking him off balance. They grappled fiercely, but Jack couldn't lose focus. He had to protect Harper. Mia depended on them. Harper dashed for the window, pushing it open and straining to climb through. I can do it! She shouted, her voice filled with urgency. She squeezed through just as Jack landed a kick to the intruder's side, sending him sprawling backward. Go! Now! He shouted again, the panic surging through him like wildfire. Once on the other side, Harper turned back with fear etched on her face. What about you? She cried, her voice a mixture of terror and determination. I'll hold them off. Just go. Jack felt the tears prick his eyes. He had to keep her safe, even if it cost him everything. As the intruder rose back to his feet, Jack squared his shoulders. The moment hung like a thread, and in that heartbeat, he realized that protecting Mia, Harper, and himself was a fight worth every risk. In the chaos surrounding them, Jack's thoughts collided. What if they were not just fighting for survival, but for something deeper, the chance for a real family? Jack! Harris shouted, struggling with his opponent. We need to get out or we won't have a chance. Go! Jack sent a fierce look toward Harris and then back at the man barreling toward him. As he faced the threat head-on, Jack knew this could be his chance to change everything, not just for himself, but for Mia, for Harper, for something they all deserved. The fight erupted in chaos as he grappled with the intruder. Would this be the moment they all broke free, or would it bind them to something darker? Outside the room, the sounds of battle echoed, and a sense of urgency tightened around them. Jack could only hope they had the strength to emerge victorious or risk losing everything that mattered. As he fought with all his might, a thought struck him like a lightning bolt. What if this fight led to the very truth they sought, a truth that could change their lives forever? Jack struggled against the weight of the intruder, each movement fueled by fear and adrenaline. His heart raced as he thought of Harper, praying she was safe outside. The room pulsed with chaos, and every sound seemed amplified: the intruder's grunts, the distant shouts from Harris, the crashing of furniture. Get off me! Jack yelled, shoving the intruder away. He could see a faint glimmer of desperation in the man's eyes, mingled with a cold resolve. Jack didn't have time to figure him out, he had to act. He lunged forward, aiming to throw a punch, but the man was ready, catching Jack's fist and twisting him around. Jack gritted his teeth as pain shot through his shoulder. He could hear Harris engaging with the other intruder, a clash of bodies and brutal exchanges echoing off the walls. Harris! Jack shouted, hoping the officer could keep his balance long enough for them to find an escape route. On it! Came the breathless reply, and with a mighty effort, Jack spun out of the intruder's grip. In that moment, he was there, fully present in the thick of the fight, the weight of his family's future hanging in the balance. He spotted a heavy lamp on a nearby table and snatched it up. Its cold metal felt reassuring in his hands. With the intruder charging at him again, Jack swung with every ounce of force he could muster. The lamp connected with a dull thud, sending the man crashing to the side, dazed. Jack! Harris called, urgency laced in his voice as he struggled with the second man. We need to regroup. Jack took a quick glance toward the window. Harper was out, but Mia still needed protection. The chaos blurred the lines of thought, but he zeroed in on one goal: get out of this alive. He swung the lamp at the approaching figure again. The intruder staggered back, giving Jack a clear opening. "Let us go!" Jack shouted, rushing toward Harris, who was wrestling the second intruder to the ground. It looked like they weren't going to win the fight against them if they didn't work together. With a surge of determination, Jack dropped the lamp, lunged for the struggling officer, and helped him pin the man down. The two of them worked in strained sync, locking arms around the intruder so he couldn't break free again. The thrashing slowed under their combined strength, and Jack felt a terrifying surge of relief mixed with newfound fear and anger. "Where's Harper?" Jack panted, not daring to look away from the intruder. "She made it," Harris replied, "but we need to move now." Running frantically to the door, Jack felt the pulse of their situation thumping inside him. As they barreled out into the hallway, the clamor outside became indescribable, a mixture of shouts and sirens, chaos teetering on the edge of destruction. "Jack!" Harper's voice cut through the noise, and he turned to see her scrambling away from the building, a figure creeping behind her. The realization hit him like ice. "No! Get back!" Before he could take a step, the chaos erupted again. Jack could feel his instincts roaring to life, ready to leap into action to protect his family. What if their fight didn't just concern survival? What if this was about facing the shadows of their past, about the truths threatening to unravel at any moment? "Jack! We can't stop!" Harris shouted, pulling him back into motion. As they rounded a corner, the flash of a badge caught Jack's eye, officers bursting onto the scene like a wave of hope. But doubt gnawed at him. Would this truly be safe? Jack's thoughts raced, images of Mia and Harper flickering through his mind. He didn't want to lose them, their future depended on it. As they dashed out of the building and into the darkness, a chilling question hung in the air: what if escaping wasn't just about fleeing the danger, but embracing profound truths that would bind them together like never before? Jack felt the night air bite at his skin as they sprinted away from the chaos. Each hurried step echoed his heart's frantic beat, a rhythmic reminder of the danger that still lingered. The sound of distant sirens heightened his urgency. They were racing against time. "Where's Mia? Is she okay?" he called out, panic gripping his throat. Harper, glancing back nervously, shot him a reassuring smile, though it didn't reach her eyes. "She's with Grandma. I got her out before everything started. I promise." Jack exhaled, the tension easing just a fraction. For a second, he allowed himself to focus on the safety of his girls, picturing them safe and sound in a cozy corner of Grandma's house, blissfully unaware of the adrenaline-soaked drama unfolding just moments ago. They turned a sharp corner, and the streetlights blinked like stars shimmering in an unsettling sky. The air smelled of dust and forgotten warmth from the day. "Do you think they'll follow us?" he asked, lowering his voice, sensing the proximity of lurking threats. "I don't know. Let us just keep moving," Harper replied, her tone steely. In the distance, the glare of police lights flickered against the night's canvas, illuminating their path like guiding beacons. Relief washed over Jack. They would soon be safe, they had to be. Yet every instinct warned him to stay alert. The two men who invaded their home weren't amateurs, and that thought knotted his stomach. Once they reached the intersection, they slowed. Harris pointed toward a crowd gathering by a nearby diner. "There. We can ask for help there." Jack nodded, but his gaze darted to the shadows lingering at the edges of the street. "What if they come back? What if they see us?" "Stop thinking about what-ifs," Harris barked, the strain of adrenaline leaking into his voice. "We can't live in fear. Just trust the officers." Taking a deep breath, Jack pushed aside his doubts. They had been through too much already to surrender to fear now. The police would take care of them. Behind him, Harper's hand slipped into his, reassuring and steady. As they neared the group of officers, Jack felt a warmth spread through him. Safety was so close. Just as he stepped into the light, a shout broke through the crowd. There they are. Jack's heart plummeted. They quickly turned, dread clawing at his chest. The two intruders, recovering faster than he anticipated, emerged from the shadows. They had found them. The officers flanked the road, their uniforms a sharp contrast to the chaos Jack faced. Instinct kicked in, and he pushed Harper and Harris behind him, shielding them. "Get back!" he yelled, anger flaring. The first intruder sneered, his face a grotesque reminder of the fear Jack had just fought to escape. "Thought you could run away? Stay behind me!" Jack commanded, his throat tight. As tension coiled in the air, a voice rang out. "Police! Put your hands up!" Jack turned to see two officers step forward, their weapons drawn. The intruders hesitated, assessing their dwindling options. Jack's breath hitched as he held his ground, staring down the looming figures. The second intruder laughed, a cold, cruel sound. "You think you can protect them?" Jack's limbs trembled with fury. "They're my family. I'd die for them." The confrontation ignited a moment of profound tension. Jack faced a grueling truth, fight or flight, but this time it was different. If they had survived tonight, what would happen next? Just as the air thickened with anticipation, a piercing scream shattered the night. A notification from a nearby news vehicle. "Breaking news, a violent home invasion escalates in the neighborhood." Jack's stomach twisted. Somehow, this fight was becoming public, and he was thrust into a spotlight he never wanted. How would he shield his family now? The shadows of the past loomed larger with every second, and he realized that tonight's battle was only the beginning. The real fight would be facing the truths buried deeper than fear, and those truths would change everything. "What did we step into?" he whispered as the sirens grew louder. "Jack, I think we're going to need each other more than ever," Harper said, her eyes wide with realization as the officers began to advance. He felt the ground shift beneath him, a world about to change. With scars still fresh, how would they forge their new path? The air crackled with tension as Jack stood, heart pounding, caught between the looming threat of the intruders and the officers who had arrived just in time. Time felt suspended as he weighed his options, every breath heavy with dread. "Stay where you are," one officer barked, clearing the confusion. The weight of the situation descended like an iron curtain, muffling the surrounding sounds, the chaos shrinking to the edges of his awareness. The intruders exchanged frantic glances, calculating their next move. Jack's grip tightened around Harper's hand, her fingers trembling like leaves caught in a storm. It was then he caught sight of the crowd forming around them, eyes wide in an unsettling blend of fear and curiosity, as if they were watching a performance that had gone awry. "Mom!" a child cried, and Jack's heart broke at the sound, the innocent plea satiated with the pang of reminders that their lives hung in the balance. "Jack, we need to go," Harper urged, her voice shaking but laced with an urgency that jolted him back to the present. "No. We can't leave them," he shot back, his voice rising, the soldier in him unwilling to retreat. He refused to abandon the fight, not when the safety of his family was at stake. The first intruder took a step forward, confidence returning as his back straightened. "You think you can save them?" he jeered at Jack, eyes glinting with malice. "You have no idea how deep this goes." Jack's resolve hardened, but doubt lanced through his self-assurance. What deeper layers of danger had he unwittingly unearthed? But before he could voice his fears, the officer's voice rang out again. "Drop your weapons. Now." The tension in the street reached a boiling point. A silence hung, thick and suffocating, until the intruders slowly raised their hands. Jack held his breath, his heart racing both with hope and apprehension. Maybe this was over. But just as relief began to seep into his bones, the ground beneath him shook a tremor that sent shockwaves through the despair, crackling in the air. The second intruder, with a wild glint in his eye, suddenly lunged, making a mad dash towards the officers. "Stop!" one officer shouted, but it was too late. Chaos ignited again as the crowd erupted into screams, mothers yanking their children away, and a flurry of movement filled the street. Jack instinctively pushed Harper and Harris aside, adrenaline surging through him. "Get to safety." "No." Harper's voice cut through the frenzy. "We can't leave you. I'll be okay. Just move." He insisted, his voice cracking. He could feel his heart racing in tandem with the chaos, a synchronized dance of dread. As Jack stepped forward, intending to shield the officers, the scuffle erupted. The two men fought back fiercely, desperation fueling their actions. The police stood firm, but the scene unfolded in a torrent of exclamations and body movements. Jack's focus sharpened as he darted in to help. The scene, once a mere horror, transformed into an instinctual call to arms. Every punch, every shove, felt like a stitch in a fraying fabric he needed to mend, but amid the barrage, he caught sight of something out of the corner of his eye, something small, peeking out from a pile of discarded items on the street. A tiny figure, resembling a lost child, scavenging through the remnants of a world that hadn't noticed it yet. "Mia Harper. Harris." He shouted, the realization sending a wave of fear through him. "I need you to run, get Mia." "But Jack, go." He yelled, the roar ripping from his chest, a primal urge to protect what mattered most. As they tore away to find safety, Jack turned back to the fray, his focus narrowing once more. What path had they stumbled upon? Who were these men, and what did they stand to gain? With chaos swirling around him, Jack took a deep breath, ready to face whatever would come next. But he couldn't shake the feeling there was something even deeper at play here. As Jack squared his shoulders against the storm brewing before him, the question resonated in his mind: what truth would unravel next in this fight for survival? In the chaos of the moment, Jack's heart raced. The frantically churning thoughts lost in adrenaline. He needed to protect Mia and Harper, to ensure their future escaped the shadows threatening them. As the grapple between the officers and intruders ignited again, Jack's instincts surged. He couldn't stand idle. He charged at the intruder nearest him, feeling the rage of desperation propel him forward. "Get away from them!" he shouted, launching himself into the fray. A fist connected with his jaw, forcing him to stumble back, but that pain only ignited his resolve. Briar and thorns crammed into his mind. There was so much at stake, and each swing, each collision felt like a battle for hope. Finally, from the cacophony emerged Harper, her face flushed but fierce. "Jack! We found Mia." Relief washed over him, mixing with renewed determination. In that moment, everything blurred into focus. It was time to end this fight to protect what was most precious. "Harris!" Jack shouted. "We need to get Mia and Harper out of here, now." "On it!" Officer Harris replied, a badge of solidarity sparking in the chaos. They fought, a whirlwind of fists and will, forming a protective circle around Harper, who clutched little Mia tightly, her small frame trembling. Through their eyes, Jack could see fear, but also a flicker of courage igniting, weaving through the tumult like light breaking through stormy clouds. "Just stay close," Jack urged, as they pushed through the melee. The world shrank into a rushing blur of sound and color, yet all he could focus on was the safety of his family. "Keep moving," Officer Harris commanded, as they jostled through the crowd, weaving toward the exit. Every inch felt like a small victory, but the faint echo of shouts haunted him. They weren't free yet. Danger loomed like a looming reminder of a threat unshaken. Fleeting moments morphed into eternity as they fought toward the light and the safety that shimmered in the distance. The burst of colors from flashing police lights became their guiding star, illuminating their desperate escape. Suddenly, one of the intruders broke away, eyes wide, hurtling towards them. Jack felt a primal surge of fear and fury blend into one. At that instant, something deep within him crystallized. "Protect them!" Jack pounced, redirecting his energy, colliding with the man. It was a savage blur of limbs until with a knot of adrenaline-fueled strength, he managed to tackle the intruder to the ground. He pinned the man down, feeling the weight of his duty on his shoulders. "Is it done?" Jack shouted, breathless and fierce, demanding. Officer Harris stepped forward, securing the man with handcuffs that clicked like a final chorus of a battle hymn. Mia's small voice reached through the rubble of chaos, her trust radiating brighter than the starlit sky. Are we safe now? Jack looked into her innocent eyes and felt his heart swell like a warm tide. Yes, we are, Mia. You're safe now. He gently squeezed her shoulder, wishing to banish the shadows that clung to her soul. Harper's hands found his and a palpable bond formed between them, the invisible threads of shared battle knitting tighter in that moment. Thank you, Harper whispered, her eyes brimming with gratitude. I thought we'd lost her. I'm not leaving you again, Jack replied, voice breaking as the lump in his throat reflected their shared relief, fear, and hope winding through the tension-filled air. From a distance, sirens wailed and took over the silence, blending into a soothing symphony of authority. Jack felt a low tension release from the world around him. Knowing they had faced their fears head-on, forged a bond that would weather anything moving forward, made the air feel lighter, they stepped into the bright glow of the police lights, where officers converged, acting like guardians of hope. Jack felt a shiver of pride fuse with warmth. Perhaps their collective future had started to carve itself into something brighter. As they stood together, hearts racing but safe, Jack made a silent promise. He vowed to embrace the new path this Christmas had gifted him the power of love, selflessness, and family rooted in each moment of the battle they had faced together. As he looked down at Mia, who now smiled through her tears, he whispered, "You have a family now. We'll protect each other always." With that, the shadows etched in their minds began to fade, and Jack felt an overwhelming sense of clarity. In their shared chaos, they had found their true meaning of family. The warmth of the Christmas lights danced around them, a symbol of shared love triumphing over darkness. Jack took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from his heart. A radiant beacon of hope glimmered within them. Together, they bore witness to their incredible truth, emerging from the ashes of fear. As they walked toward tomorrow, hand in hand, the world felt brighter. Jack turned to Harper, taking courage to voice what they all felt. We'll take it one day at a time. The bond they shared now transcended fear because they stood strong together, ready to face whatever life would throw their way next. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support, so don't wait not even one more second to share.